Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Help is out there for the thousands of Detroiters who suffered flood damage. Today, Mayor Duggan and FEMA are working to help some Detroiters whose claims have already been denied.
A Detroit basketball legend lost to COVID-19.
And I was telling them every day, get your shot, get your shot.
Close friends of Tony Tolbert share their heartbreak and their message to people on the fence about getting the vaccine.
We're going to begin with coronavirus and new guidelines from the state for in-person learning.
Health officials recommend universal indoor masking for all students and staff members, regardless of their vaccination status. The guidance has been updated to reflect the most current recommendation by the CDC on masks. School districts are allowed to make their own rules on masking, so this is just a recommendation. Health officials also suggest vaccinations for all eligible students and staff, as well as 3 feet of physical distancing for students in the classroom. And a Detroit court rules the new CDC ban on evictions does not apply to Detroiters.
The 36th District Court says the spread of the virus in the city doesn't meet the CDC's rules to ban the evictions. The court says the city should go by its infection rate, the city's infection rate, that is, and not Wayne County's because it has its own health department. Court says it'll monitor transmission rates for any possible changes, but for now, evictions are back as a possibility.
Meanwhile, Governor Whitmer says the Delta variant won't return Michigan to statewide mask mandates or business closures.
But the fact is, COVID is going to continue to limit us, and a lot of the responsibility to cope with that is falling to businesses. Our business editor, Rob Maloney, joins us with a look at how they're responding to that. Rob?
Well, Devin, you know, nobody wants to be told how to run a business or what to do, but on the other side of that, they still want to run a profitable business. How do you do that? Well, you got to make sure everybody's happy as best you can, and in this situation, that's a little dicey. So, like the auto industry, many of the businesses across the state are going back to the protocols that they knew in the last 18 months. At the Southfield Star Deli, the COVID concerns here are as big as the traditional sandwiches they serve. Forget shoes or shirts. The front door sign greets you, no mask, no service. Owner Sidney Newman tells us it's all about everyone's safety.
Because I don't want anybody to get sick here. Because God forbid if somebody gets sick, we have problems.
And it's likely a trend we're going to see cropping up in the days ahead.
I think they're tired.
Justin Winslow of the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association represents beleaguered business owners and agrees that masks are on the comeback. Still, not everyone does.
You know, Alpena doesn't think about this the same way as Ann Arbor does. And there are a lot of examples that fit that description. So locals quickly adapting to the needs of the community is probably the better way to go.
Wendy Block of the Michigan.
You need to make the decision that's best for your workplace, recognizing that you do have this general duty to provide a safe and hazard-free workplace to all employees.
And customers. Late this afternoon, Governor Gretchen Whitmer weighed in on where all this is headed.
If I'm inside, I'm going to be wearing a mask. Now, I haven't mandated that everyone do that. I don't anticipate doing that. We've got epidemic orders that we still have those powers. The Department of Health and Human Services is watching the science.
So in the end, it looks like, once again, patience is going to be in order. Having that mask back in your pocket is probably a good idea because in most places you're likely going to have to wear it. Devin, back to you.
The governor had a few other things to say, though, about mask wearing, didn't she?
Well, she did. One of the things that she's concerned about is what we addressed here at the top of the news here, and that is that getting the kids back to school for her is vitally important. And so having the kids masked up is something that she thinks is going to have to happen in order to get all of the kids physically back into school, which is something she said she wants.
And that is coming up quickly. All right, Rod, let's move now to today's COVID headlines and developments as cases continue to surge across the country. First, WHO, the World Health Organization, is calling for a moratorium on COVID booster shots through September.
That comes as a surge is ripping through southern states, including Florida, where COVID hospitalizations have broken a record. In New York, organizers have canceled the New York Auto Show over the spread of the Delta variant. And here at home, numbers remain relatively low, but hospitals are warning cases are on the rise. The roller coaster of COVID precautions is, of course, a result of the serious increase in Delta-related COVID cases nationwide.
And one of our region's largest health systems had an update on the situation they're seeing Nobody one better to bring in on this than Dr. Frank McGeorge. Doc, they're also talking about the toll that this has had on healthcare workers, because here you are looking at another potential surge.
Yeah, they sure are, Kim and Devin. You know, I realize some people remain reluctant to get vaccinated, and certainly no one is excited about the return of masks in public. But at its core, for the past year and a half, it's been about minimizing illness and preventing deaths. And absolutely no one wants to see this end more than the people working toward those goals.
After having been through 3 surges in this pandemic, none of us want to see a 4th surge here in Michigan. I can tell you, and we've shared with you before in previous briefings, that our hospital staff, our health workers are exhausted, they are weary, and they are really frustrated.
But Dr. Adnan Mukhara, Chief Clinical Officer for the Henry Ford Health System, wants people to know they stand ready as the numbers increase.
As of this morning, we have 48 patients hospitalized with COVID across our 5 hospitals. This is a significant jump from what we're...
Over 500 patients with COVID admitted to Henry Ford. Today, the majority of hospitalizations are in unvaccinated people. Only 3 of the 48 hospitalized patients were vaccinated, and none of them have required the intensive care unit. While the absolute number of hospitalized patients isn't severe yet, the trend is currently worrisome.
In Michigan, the number of cases has jumped 180% in the past 2 weeks, and hospitalizations statewide are up by about 35%.
And it's this trend that we are watching so closely right now. Now, the CDC's mathematical models for new cases in Michigan show a lot of uncertainty in whether things will remain flat or whether they might accelerate in the next couple of weeks. But one thing that is also very clear from the modeling is that if we can increase the number of vaccinated people, mask up, and reduce the number of unnecessary contacts, there's actually a good likelihood that the surge would be stopped. Back to you.
That's the case. Okay, Doc, thank you. In a Local 4 update, 2 lanes are now back open on northbound I-75 in Oakland County.
Sky 4 over the freeway between I-696 and 12 Mile in Madison Heights. 1 lane reopened yesterday. Today, a second reopen. That comes after crews worked on those emergency repairs due to a sinkhole that damaged the freeway last week. Southbound I-75 remains unchanged. 2 lanes open through the area right now. Mayor Duggan and FEMA are teaming up to make sure victims of the flooding last month and in June know that there's help and how to get it.
But that comes as people are saying they've received denial letters from FEMA after filing a claim. Larry Spruill is live tonight. Larry, you actually spoke to somebody who got one of those letters.
I did, Kimberly, and a lot of people in neighborhoods like this one say the last few months have been very frustrating for them, from cleaning up their homes to getting denial letters from FEMA, which really, they say they just want to just give up hope. But both the city and FEMA say, don't give in just yet.
Tiresome. It's been very tiresome.
Loretta Powell says the last few months have been a series of ups and downs. Her basement here on Montclair Street on Detroit's east side flooded back in June.
I had water that was dripping on my electrical box, so that had, I was very scared about that. I had all damaged as far as clothes, I had scooters, I had some furniture.
So when she heard FEMA was providing assistance, she was hopeful. She immediately applied for help, but was denied.
FEMA did not come to my house. I got denied. FEMA did not come to my house at all.
Denial letters are often not final. I know how much we've heard about this, but they may just mean you need to submit more information.
Wednesday, Mayor Mike Duggan said they are aware that a lot of Detroiters have received those same denial letters.
Emergency assistance for FEMA. It covers what's needed to make your house safe and livable.
He's urging people like Powell to reapply or go to FEMA centers in Detroit on step-by-step instructions. For Powell, that's good news.
Yes, I will reapply.
And also, Wayne County is offering a free copy of homeowner deeds, a way to help out homeowners who need assistance. Also, the city and FEMA leaders are urging people to stop by the 2 centers where FEMA leaders are. We have all of that information on our website. Click on Detroit.com. We are live in Corktown tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Larry, I know a lot of people's cars were stranded on the freeways when that flooding happened. Any FEMA assistance for them?
And Kimberly, that question came up in the news conference earlier today, and FEMA leaders say that you should go through your car insurance company first, and if that doesn't work out, then FEMA will be able to provide some type of assistance. Kimberly?
Let's hope so. Okay, Larry, thanks. We have much more to come here on a wonderful Wednesday. Let's check in with Ben.
Yeah, Kim, it is compared to what's coming, no doubt about that. But we've also added a few raindrops into the equation tonight. We'll check Storm Tracker 4 coming up.
For the last year and a half, he has relived trauma he didn't know was there.
I could smell Dr. Anderson's cologne, and I could feel his breath.
Now the former star running back for the University of Michigan is sharing the painful details and speaking out for the athletes not yet ready to give up anonymity.
I'm not John Doe, I'm John Vaughn.
Who prepared him for this moment 29 years ago? Coming up.
A basketball grade is stolen by COVID after his friends and family begged him for months to get the shot.
We all tried to get him to understand the seriousness, of being vaccinated.
But this was one shot he was unwilling to make.